Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi at-tahirin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this broadcast, we're going to begin some lectures on the belief system. So, in these lectures, we'll be having a review of the book Shia Creed by Sheikh Saduk, radiallahu anhu, and we will cover some of the topics in which Sheikh Saduk discusses related to the section of Usul Din, or the fundamentals of the religion. And we're going to talk about in these lectures some of the arguments for the proof of the existence of Allah the Exalted, some of the arguments and the proofs for the attributes, the sifa of Allah. So we could begin this lecture with a talk on the Islamic belief system. What is the Islamic belief system and why is it important? The Islamic belief system is important and essential to our foundation in the religion. That is, the belief system, the proper Shia creed is essential as a foundation for us in the religion. If we have a correct belief system, we will understand more and we will have more motivation in our adherence to the religion. So we'll have a better understanding of the religion, better understanding about Allah, better understanding about prophethood, better understanding about the sifa of Allah, better understanding about imama, better understanding about the day of judgment, why we are obeying the Islamic norms, why we should become good moral people, why we should do good things. We should have a better understanding of why we are standing on this deen, why we are walking the path of this religion. So having the correct belief system will enhance our understanding. It will help correct our understanding, and we'll have more motivation in our adherence to the religion itself. With the correct belief system, will adhere, inshallah, to the religion in a more correct and appropriate manner. So, and it will affect not only our understanding, our motivation in our adherence, but it will also infect and improve us in the direction in which we are traversing toward the lofty felicity. What is the lofty felicity? The lofty felicity is the purpose, is successfully achieving the purpose of human creation. Us humans were created to have Allah's mercy, to know Allah. So the way to know Allah is to succeed in the test, to worship Allah. So having a correct belief system will help us improve in the direction of toward the lofty felicity. In fact, many questions mankind must find the answers to can be answered with the correct belief system. Many thoughts, many contradictory ideas, many questions that occur to humanity, to people, the correct belief system will answer those questions. Like the other day, I seen one of these atheists, he had defined God as a compound being. In Islamic belief system, we know very clearly that Allah the Exalted is not consisting of parts, that he's not a compound being. And if something was a compound being, when I say compound, I mean murakkab, it has two parts or more. When something has two parts or more to make a whole, it needs the other part. So if wajib al-wujud, if Allah, the necessary being, was needing another part, it would mean he's needy. He would be contingent. He wouldn't be necessary being. We know in Islamic, this argument that this atheist brings is baseless. It falls away with the correct belief system. But someone who doesn't know that, someone who doesn't understand these details, they may be swallowed up in the wrong thought and taken away from the direction toward the lofty purpose of human creation. So many of the questions that people may face, with the correct belief system, they'll find the answer. Such as the topics about Allah the Exalted, the existence of Allah, the justice of Allah, the good and evil in the world. Does good and evil exist in the world? Why? These kinds of things will find the answer in correct belief system. The tests and trials. Why do people go through tests and trials? The prophethood, the guidance. Why do we need to have prophets? Why all these things will be answered in the correct belief system. The resurrection day. Why must there be a day of accountability where the good doers are rewarded and the bad doers face hellfire? So all these things are discussed in the belief system. Why the resurrection day? Why then you find with the correct belief system the hereafter, the hereafter, the hell, the heaven, the paradise, the barzakh, accountability, and many other related questions. So with the correct belief system, one will find the answers to many of these questions. So all the worships we do, all the ibadat means worships. We have to do them and begin them with ma'rifah. To be able to worship, to be able to obey, to be able to submit to Allah, we need to have ma'rifah. As we must have ma'rifah of Allah and of the religion, of the deen. Knowledge is to know something, but belief is to have absorbed it. So somebody may know something, but they don't have belief in it. They may compile themselves like a book, be able to answer questions like a book. Even they may bring the right things like a book written by an author who knows. But they don't have belief. Because belief is to have absorbed that knowledge in the heart. When somebody believes, they have absorbed that knowledge. The heart accepts and submits to it. And it will then start to affect and influence one's actions and their sayings. Once the heart accepts something, once the heart embraces it, once the heart wraps itself around it, the heart will start to flow in the direction of its beliefs. Once it starts to accept that Allah is the creator, that Allah is the one that has commanded, that we will face accountability, that there is prophets, that there is imams, it'll start to affect the direction the heart goes. Aqa'id, or creed or beliefs, means to tie. It means to tie. So when we use it in the sense of beliefs, it is with the meaning that one accepts the knowledge and ties their heart around it. So they take the knowledge, the ma'rifah of about Allah, and they take the knowledge about the arguments about Allah, the knowledge about the prophethood, the knowledge about the imamah, the knowledge about the sifa of Allah, the knowledge about the miyad, and they tie their hearts around it. Their hearts get tied around the knowledge. Hence, the belief system is knotted to the person, is tied to the person. In light of this, we can clear the ground and say that the belief system in Islam is founded on aqli proofs, intellectual proofs, and refined and developed through revelation and intellectualism. What do I mean? I want to emphasize on the religion's role here in the guidance of humanity. Because some people, maybe they'll get confused. Maybe they'll think by our talk about the importance of aql, that's all they need. No. Aql sets the foundation. Aql, intellect, it sets the grounds and the foundations, the true arguments. But revelation will take us higher. Revelation will bring us out of just possibilities when we come to an issue that is possible. Two possibles. Revelation will bring us up into things that intellect couldn't reach into. Revelation will bring us into things that intellect couldn't get on its own. Intellect in turn will accept it, will agree with it, will either step back and say, I cannot refute that. It's not irrational. It's agreeable. And it will establish the foundations. So intellect and religion, they go hand in hand. Religion and intellect agrees. And religion could take you a step higher, could take you higher into things that intellect cannot always know on its own. And intellect will reject irrational things. So I want to emphasize on religion's role in the guidance of humanity, because it teaches us things that intellect not be able to reveal to us. And it also refines and directs the correct views that intellect may see. So intellect may see different views, but religion will come and direct us and refine us to the right one. Whereas intellect's role is very important and lays the foundations and examines the proofs and offers possibilities. However, we must keep in mind the harmony between the two and the lofty status of religion. So we have to make sure we emphasize and highlight the importance of religion. We don't reject intellectual efforts, nor do we say, like Kierkegaard had said, that faith is an irrational leap. We don't agree with that, not at all. We don't reject intellectual efforts, and we don't say that faith is an irrational leap. No, what we say is that religion will never say something irrational. We could say there's three types of religious propositions. There's the rational one, which intellect proves. There's the irrational, which intellect disproves. And then there's the non-rational. The non-rational is something that the intellect doesn't disprove, and it doesn't prove. So it's something that it's not against. It's not opposing intellect. The intellect is okay with it, because it knows it can't reach everything. So in the religion of Islam, there's no irrational religious propositions in the authentic Islam. So we say religion will never say something irrational. True religion, Din al-Haq, will never say something irrational. However, it can show us things non-rational. As for the non-rational aspect, this is where religion takes the hand of intellect. It takes the hand of the reason and walks it through the paths it cannot tread alone. Tells it to sit where it should not walk, and tells it, guides it to the refined view. So the importance of religion is superior, but agrees with intellect. Intellect and religion agree. They'll never disagree. They'll never oppose each other. Sometimes some things are found in thought that sound good because they're a possibility, but religion will say something that's equally possible. We'll bring it up and say this is the reality. Or it will take us to things that the mind, the intellect couldn't reach on its own. It couldn't reach. Things it didn't know. So religion is emphasized in its role as well as intellect. So in these lessons, we bring intellectual proofs to establish foundations, to prove arguments. And these intellectual proofs are good proofs. Belief system will unveil to us reasons and purpose in our walking upon the Islamic line. Hence, belief gives value to actions, and also how important it is to have the correct belief system. Many heresies and false ideologies, corrupt concepts, and mere imaginations appeared from the minds that have not been refined with the guidance of Islamic revelation and firm proofs. In fact, in our day, many things people may consider to be sound and correct must be questioned. Many things that people blindly accept, they must be questioned. Where is their proof? On what are you relying? Has religion said that, or hasn't it? So it must be found, our belief system must be founded on authentic proofs and intellectual, logical facts, or discarded. It has to be founded on something firm, something true, acceptable by intellect, something acceptable in the text. Can't be just blindly following somebody's personal opinion or some made up fabrication. Hence, it becomes so important that we find the teachings of the Holy Quran in this sphere and the Ahlul Bayt alayhum salam. As Hadith Thaqalain states, which is narrated from Al-Hakim al-Nishapuri from his chain, he said, "Verily, I leave behind two weighty things." This Hadith Thaqalain from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a mutawatir hadith, many narrations, but just this one is narrated from Hakim and Nishapuri. "Verily, I leave behind two weighty things, the Book of Allah and my Ahlul Bayt. Verily, the two will never separate until they come back to me by the side of the pond." This is a trans interpretation of the hadith. Now, before we end, the origin of Ilm al-Kalam, the science of theology, is a science which, although Islam had a theoretical aspect, a belief system, and a set of directions toward the correct beliefs, however, the science of discussion and debate about these issues arose during the time of the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, alayhim salam, and formed into a science which still lasts until today. And that science is called Ilm al-Kalam, with many madhahib and variations. And we'll look at, inshallah, some of the different things that occur in this science. The beginning of Ilm al-Kalam, one reason may be the use of speech, because kalam means speech in the debates. Another reason that could be cited, maybe there'll be different opinions among scholars. Another reason was the big debate during the Abbasid dynasty era as to whether the speech of Allah, the book of Allah, was eternal or created. So because of this, there's different views on why the science of Kalam was called Ilm al-Kalam, but these are some of the reasons that different scholars may have. So this is our lesson for this time. Wal akhiru dawana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.